Hey, I play drums. If you know anybody looking for a drummer for a cool rock band, um, let me know. I'll audition. I'll fly anywhere in the world. I don't care. I don't really want to have a boss at any point in my life. Really just want to play music for a living and maybe tell some boner jokes on the side. So yeah, if you know anybody, hook me up with an audition. I'll fly anywhere in the world. I don't care. Um, as long as you can guarantee me some money at some point for making and playing music, that would be great. Anyway, on to our topic today. Sleep inversion. I think that London's pub culture has caused me to have sleep inversion. Now, I'll talk about the pub culture in a bit, but if you don't know about sleep inversion, this is the phenomenon in which your sleeping routine reverses from that of normal people. So normal people wake up maybe 7, 8 a.m. They're at work for 9. They work until 5-ish. They get off. If they have kids, they put their kids to bed around 8 o'clock. I think that's a reasonable time. That's when my parents made me go to bed when I was a kid. 8 o'clock is good. And then they're in bed by 10, 12-ish at night. And the process repeats. I don't ever plan on having such a routine in my life, but it would to some degree be nice. It has its benefits to be on somewhat of a similar sleeping schedule as the rest of society, but I don't have that luxury, and I haven't since living in London. Um, you know, Not much has been happening, I guess. I don't have that much structure in my week to necessitate a normal sleeping routine, but over time, over the last 7 months of living in London, my sleeping schedule has reversed completely. So I basically sleep when everyone else is at work from like 9 to 5, and then I'm awake all night. Naturally, I am a night owl. I'm kind of a creative person, and I feel a lot more creative and productive in the late hours of the night. Like, if I lie down in bed and I try to go to sleep at a reasonable hour, for me, that's like 4 a.m., my head starts flooding itself with ideas, creative ideas. I've been doing stand-up comedy lately here in London and doing open mics, just whatever I can find, although it's kind of hard because you have to go through a promoter for most gigs, kind of like you do playing music, which is a huge fucking pain in the ass. It's really hard to book gigs. But I found a couple good open mics, and I've sweet-talked a few promoters into letting me do stand-up comedy without having a Facebook page. How nice of them. Anyway, where was I? Sorry, I'm running on literally zero sleep, so I'm probably going to lose my train of thought once or twice. And I don't know how to edit videos, so I'm going to have these little rants in between. Yeah, so, well, doing stand-up comedy, you would think that an inverted sleeping schedule would be okay. I know, like, Trevor Noah has this, like, crazy schedule where he wakes up at like 7 p.m. every day or something like that. He goes and he does his TV show for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then he goes and has breakfast, and then he hits the comedy clubs and he's there till like 4 a.m. and then he has dinner around like 9 a.m. and then he goes to sleep. Totally inverted schedule, and he's a stand-up comedian and TV host, so it works for him for his job. And I kind of have that freedom too, being here in London. I'm doing a master's degree in philosophy, so whenever is best for me, creatively and productively, to get things done, then I need to take advantage of that. If that's 4 a.m., great. If that's 2 in the afternoon, like wake up halfway through my sleep and I think of like the next step in my thesis, or if I think of a funny joke, like I need to take advantage of that motivation when it comes along. And not working much for money, and not having much else going on here in London actually helps out with allowing me to take advantage of my creativity and my motivation organically when it happens. But it's still kind of an issue, you know. Anyway, on to the pub culture. Pubs here in London close very early. They open around 5 p.m. and they generally, even on the weekends, they're closed by 11 p.m., 12 p.m. at the latest. There are a handful of places that stay open later than that. 2 a.m., 3 a.m. There's like, God, Trisha's in Soho is open till 1 a.m. Crowbar in Soho is open till 3. I think there are only like 2 or 3 24-hour pubs in all of London, city with fucking 8 million people. You'd think that there would be more of a like late night drinking culture and like party culture and even a music scene, but there's not. Although I don't think that's something that's specific to London, but more indicative of the music industry in general. Because, you know, live show, I don't know, it's like, what the fuck is going on these days with music? It's like this lo-fi, pseudo indie, folk, pop, electronica shit. I don't know, like, that's how I would describe it anyway. Every band who can pack a venue here in London is playing that type of shit. There are no rock bands. There's no Camden. Camden is dead. It's a fucking tourist trap. You walk around, and it's not like the olden days where you just like listened for the music that you like from the street, and then you just walk into a pub and there's a badass band playing. It's like, no, it doesn't fucking happen, which is hugely disappointing. Anyway, so yeah, bars close really early, and even music venues, whereas in the States, when I play with my band Guns of the Seneca in America, I'm used to starting a show no earlier than 10 p.m., 10:30. The first band goes on 10:30, between 10:30 and 11 usually, and we play until 2 or 3 a.m., you know? And but here, there's a curfew for music venues. You have to be finished and out of there by 11. And then after the band is done, a DJ comes in, and he plays maybe until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in some cases, especially at like the hostel pubs. And it's like, yeah, but DJ's making noise too. Like, what does the curfew actually entail? Like, what are the reasons for that? I don't know. Haven't fucking figured that out yet. But anyway, say like where I come from in New Orleans, I'm not used to being in a rush to go out drinking. You know what I mean? Like, I can get my drink on in New Orleans whenever the fuck I want to. Now, there's a lot that I don't like about New Orleans. I don't like New Orleans music. I don't like New Orleans art. I don't like most of the bars. I don't like most of the people in New Orleans. But one good thing about New Orleans drinking culture is that generally people drink to have a good time, and you can drink whenever the fuck you want. As early as you want, as late as you want. The world is your oyster. Here in London, you know, you don't have all those options. You have to drink when the bars are open, and the bars are open in a very small window of time. And usually back home, I'm not used to making a decision as to whether or not I want to go out or not until midnight sometimes even later, you know? And then that's not a problem. There are bars that I can go to, but here in London, man, not so much. And I've been here for 7 months. It's not like I haven't looked. But anyway, yeah, so that kind of deters me from going out and spending a shitload of money at the pubs, which is probably a good thing in itself. But you know, it also puts a damper on socializing and things like that. But anyway, I think my sleep inversion kind of resulted from that, because I'm staying up later and trying to be productive later into the night. And then, you know, by the time I'm finished working, maybe I want to do something, but it's so late that I don't really have any options, you know. So I end up like staying up, and I don't know. If I try to go to sleep, if I am remotely tired by the time 4 a.m. rolls around, I don't know, maybe get another spark of creativity. You know, think of a new boner joke that's even better than the. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, I've also noticed here that people here generally, unlike say New Orleans where I'm from, people generally don't drink to have a good time like they do back home. They drink to rid themselves of existential sorrow, and maybe that's indicative of the weather, the persistently gray sky, the depressive nature of Great Britain in general. But I don't know. You can kind of tell that people are going out drinking because they need it. Whereas like people in New Orleans they're a little more unhinged, I guess, when they go out drinking. At least it seems that way. Maybe that has something to do with like British propriety. They kind of know their limits and they stay within them. So like I respect that. But there's also this thing that whenever I complain about pubs closing early to British people or people in London, they all like most of them say the same thing. They say, well, it's a good thing that pubs aren't open, as late as they are in say New Orleans because we wouldn't be able to handle it. Like we wouldn't be able to hold our shit. And I'm thinking, I've gotten that same answer from so many people. It makes me think that, well, that takes a lot of self-awareness, general like self-awareness as a culture, to know that about yourselves, not only individually but collectively. So something tells me that that's true. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it is a good thing that pubs close early here because the hooligan culture is real. East London is alive, man, and the hooligans are running wild and free, and they're not all white either, like you see in the football hooligan sects of hooliganism. Not that like non-white people aren't into football too. I mean, football's it's a universal sport. By football, I mean soccer. I don't really know where I'm going with this. So I'm pretty sleep deprived, and I'll probably just post this without even watching it, because if I look back on it after I get some sleep with a more of a clear head, I may be more hesitant. So I feel like I had a good natural flow going despite all the tangents. Anyway, this microphone doesn't work, which is why I wrapped this around the microphone. Still having technical difficulties. So if anyone knows how to get a microphone like this to work through recording software when it's not working, even though everything is enabled and all the sound levels are at maximum, let me know. I'm mechanically retarded. Oh, by the way, terms gay and retarded in their derogatory sense, they're in full swing here. Well, for me, not for everyone else. London is pretty PC, so it pisses people off. Also, if you ever go to London, what they call the center, we call downtown in most cities in the US. Call the center of London downtown. They get really mad. It's cute. Yeah. Alright, see you guys later. Cheers.